Good morning and welcome back to my garden. We're going to start this garden tour on the back side of the garden. So we're looking at the hot pepper bed here. These jalapenos that I had harvested a couple weeks ago have come back. Lots of little peppers on there. A couple of them are turning red. I planted the orange spice and the pumpkin spice varieties, but they're all ripening to red, so that seems a little bit weird to me. But that's okay. They're jalapenos either way. I don't mind. And on this side, there's the poblano guy. He's really big. He's like branches out that way and this way. And then down underneath, getting some shade, is a yellow spice pepper, a lemon spice or something like that. And then over on this side, there's one in the middle here. It's Craig's Grande jalapeno. And we're getting some good sized ones on here, hoping they'll get a little bigger because I want to make jalapeno poppers out of these and preserve them in the freezer for holidays and whenever I feel like eating a jalapeno popper. That's my raven. She's supposed to scare away the birds. She doesn't. This one down here is a smaller pepper plant, another Craig's Grande. The difference in the size is these ones were planted in the spring. The small ones were planted in the fall, in late August, early September. This one over here is purple cayenne, and the color that's on them now is because they were exposed to the sun. I'm noticing even on the jalapeno, a lot of my peppers that have sun shining on them are turning black. But the underside on a lot of these is green, so they will ripen to purple, but they're not ripening yet. But there are a ton on there, so I'm excited. I'm going to dehydrate those and turn them into crushed purple pepper. And then turning around here, this is the volunteer lantana that is growing in the corner back there and is taking over the bed, and I'm giving it to him because I think the flowers are beautiful. And then it grows the little berries that the seeds come in, so it's probably going to come back as a weed year after year, but that's a problem for future somebody else, not me. Next to that is the asparagus patch, or behind that, I guess. Asparagus patch is as big and messy as ever. I saw somebody in my area say that they cut their asparagus down in, what did they say, September? And it started sprouting again like it was springtime, so I was going to do that, and then it was too big of a job because it's absolutely massive. Like, look, it's taller than my 8-foot wall. So I didn't do that, but in the future I might. And then in that same bed, I even put the drip tape over it a little bit so that it gets watered. It's my lime tree. Down here there's an Arctic Dwarf rose tomato that finally looks like it's putting on a couple of blooms. So that's cool. But that plant is pretty stunted because it doesn't get as much sun as this one, which is the same variety, the Arctic Rose Determinate Dwarf tomato. This one doesn't look like it has any. Oh, it has one bloom, a couple of blooms coming up here on top. Finally, that's a new variety to me, so I was looking forward to trying it, or letting my son try it because he's the one who likes tomatoes in the family. That pot has my oregano. I've said it for the last few times. I need to harvest it and dehydrate it. I still haven't. I might today, but I might not. History has shown that I probably won't. This is our potato box that we all planted together. They're just put down in the dirt a little bit and then covered with straw, but they're coming up nicely. There were a few when I planted that were pretty far gone, like rotting, so I wasn't expecting anything super great, but the fact that they're popping up at all is exciting. I like it. Next to that is a small orange tree. It's growing as a bush instead of a tall tree, which I like because that means that I can actually reach the fruit. And there's a good amount of fruit coming on. Now those won't be ready till Christmas or later, but that's all right. There's lots of them on there. All right, coming around from that, behind the melon bed, there's a circle bed, and then the other side over there that we'll see. It looks like something's been digging in there, which, as you'll see a little bit later, that's kind of been a theme in the garden this week. There's been something digging a little bit along that edge. Probably just birds, but there are a little more nefarious creatures in the garden that I'm not excited about. Alright, this is the melon trellis. The melons are looking good. We got a couple harvested this week and we're waiting on several more. But the problem with this melon trellis is it is absolutely infested with aphids. Like, they are everywhere. It got so bad that I came out here a couple days ago and I sprayed it with poison. I don't usually do poison, but I used Captain Jack's dead bug. And you can see on this netting underneath where they are, you might be able to see. There are dead aphids on there, so it did work, but I think the infestation is just so bad that these are going to be a lost cause. I'm just hoping for a few more ripe melons, and then I will rip them out. Right now it's a competition between how much I want my melons versus how much I hate this plant right now. And then this leaf even is starting to get some powdery mildew, which I've never dealt with on melons before, because we're in a very dry area and it doesn't get moist up there, so it's weird. Bed across from that is the next project that I have to do. It's got the 2 Romanesco cauliflowers and a Brussels sprout in there, and then a bunch of empty space. And on the other end, on that side, which you'll see better from the other side, it has the watermelon plant that the watermelon ripened this week, and we ate it and it was delicious. So we need to pull that plant out and then get this bed amended and ready for the tray of broccoli that I have on the porch. But also in this bed we have a bell pepper with a very good sized bell pepper, and then a couple of smaller ones coming on, and a lot of blossoms, a lot of blooms up at the top, and a lot of flies and mosquitoes flying right at my face when I moved that, so that was fun. This is my little shishito pepper. If you grow shishitos, oh, there's a good sized one on there. Does your plant stay small like this, or are mine just weird? I'm going to harvest this one before it turns red. There's a good sized shishito. This one on this side is a blot pepper, which is also a type of bell. There's a few pepper plants, or a few peppers on that plant. So those ones are yummy. I've harvested a few and they taste like a yummy green bell pepper. All right, walking through the arch. To the left here, we have my jicama, and I'm letting it grow these beans. The beans are not edible, but it's gonna produce seed that I can save. But I checked down, I stuck my finger down in the dirt, and there was probably golf ball size, maybe a little bit bigger, jicama root growing in there. So when this plant dies off, or when I get tired of waiting and I actually want to get it, then I'll dig down in there and actually harvest. It looks like it's getting some rust. It's got melon leaves mixed in with it, so there's like aphids all over the melon leaf, but then rust on the bean leaf, so that's kind of annoying. It's nice that the aphids are mostly leaving it alone though. See, there's some whitefly eggs. A little white thing coming off like on a string. Those are whiteflies. Those are good guys. We'll need a lot more of them though for this aphid problem. It's ridiculous. On the top of that trellis that I had put in for the jicama is the Kajari melon that took over. And I harvested a couple melons off that this week, and there's one more hanging on there. And then there's a bunch more over on that side. Those ones are yummy. They're really small though. It's like a personal breakfast melon basically. This is my mailbox my mom got me for Christmas last year, and I put my stuff in it. See? Stuff. Most of my tools are still spread out all over the yard, but it's supposed to be in the mailbox. This bed doesn't have anything in it yet. We just set it up a couple weeks ago. I did actually sew the top of the mesh. That's where I got the idea for the project one that I did last week. If you saw that video, if not, go check it out. So it's just full of compost right now. I've been keeping it watered so that it doesn't dry out, and I will probably plant onions and some flowers in there. This bottom side of this trellis here is my experiment of pole beans. I've never planted them this time of year, but they're doing well. They're growing pretty tall already. It's pretty soon they'll be spiraling their way up the trellis and hopefully producing for us. On the other side of those, we have our 2x2 bed of potatoes. And I had to put a stick in that one yesterday when I was doing the Greenstalk because it was getting stuck on the Greenstalk arms there, the trellising. So that's all right. They're a little floppy because I watered them and they haven't had sun since I watered them, so they'll perk up in a couple hours. And then there's a pot behind them that has some volunteer. I keep saying it was dahlia, but it wasn't dahlia. I'll put what it was on the screen. I don't completely remember. But then there's also a pepper plant in there because I threw some pepper seeds from a store-bought pepper and it started growing. So that's cool. We're just going to keep that watered and see what happens. In front of that bed, we have the Greenstalk, which I planted out yesterday. So it's getting its first morning sunshine. Everything looks good still. All the plants that I put in didn't get eaten overnight, so we love that. Beautiful. All right, from there we're going to go back over to the peppers because we didn't finish those. So this is the other side of that bed with the watermelon plant that needs to be pulled out. It's dead and dying. A couple weeks ago it was starting to put on some blooms at the bottom, but I don't think it's going to try anymore. It's pretty much lived its life. This is the back side of that hot pepper bed where the jalapenos were. This is my tomato plant. These are the Hungarian heart. They did really well in the springtime for me, but it is not enjoying these cool nights or anything in this bed, I guess. So it's not going to stay here much longer. I just haven't cared enough yet to pull it out. Here's another grande jalapeno that I planted in September, and it's actually doing really well. And then right next to it is an Anaheim that I planted in September. And look at the size of that pepper. That is beautiful. I love that. Definitely will be planting from that seed packet again. I don't remember where I got the seeds from. I can put this picture of the packet on the screen over here somewhere. But yeah, those are doing really well. This is another one that I planted in September, but it's in the shade, so it didn't do very well. It is trying to put on some peppers. There's a couple of blossoms, so we'll see what happens. It's another grande jalapeno. This is the back side of the one we saw from the other side, the grande jalapeno. This is a branch from one of the orange ones that are ripening to red. So, confused peppers there. This little one down here is the stunted, trying to reach out wherever it can, lemon spice, I believe. Okay, it might be orange spice, but this one actually looks like it might be turning orange. So we'll see if that one turns orange or if they stay yellow, but they're not going to get very big because it's being shaded. And this is the other side of that poblano. That is monstrous. And I harvested some of these small and they were really spicy. Someone mentioned that when they're bigger, they're less spicy. So I'm just going to let these stay on here pretty much till they start changing color. And I know they're not going to get any bigger, because then maybe they'll be a little bit less spicy, which I don't mind spice, but I don't know what I would use them for at the spice level that they were. That's my little aloe vera plant. It didn't seem super happy in the sun, so I put it in the shade, and it still doesn't seem super happy, so it might just not like the cold. On this side, bed across from that one, is an Anaheim pepper, and some of them are starting to turn red, so I need to come out here and harvest again. But there's lots of Anaheims. I love green chilies, so I love having Anaheim. Next year I think I'll try to do Hatch. I did Hatch last year and they did really well. Next to the Anaheim there are two big Jim pepper plants that are sort of engulfed in each other. And I harvested them a few weeks ago and they are already pretty full of fruit again. This is the biggest one. I'm not going to harvest these green again. I'm going to wait till they all turn red. Underneath that, the pole says Ajvarski, the tag on the ground said Lesia. I'm pretty sure it's a lecia, because it's a little round one. I think that's what lecia looked like. And then this is another branch from that big Jim that confused the heck out of me. I think this one might be a Jaworski. Might also be Big Jim, honestly. And then this one is a blot that is labeled lecia. So my labeling got all messed up this year, but that's all right. This one is labeled correctly. This is a jalapeno, which is flavor of a jalapeno and no spice. And it's growing so well. Look at all of that fruit. That is so nice. I'm excited. A couple of the smaller ones didn't get too big, but these ones are getting bigger. That makes me happy. I really like the jalapeno. And then in the walkway in my way when I'm trying to get over there is my ginger pot. I move it around when I need to, but it's fine for now. Oh, look down there. That's a nice big blot pepper. Look at that one. That's beautiful. And those are tasty. I like them at that stage, and I'm going to try to let them ripen so I can see if I like them at the ripened stage too. This is the Pippin's Golden Honey. I got it because several YouTubers recommend it as like their favorite pepper. And it's all right. I mean, it's good. When it turns this color, it's really good. And it's really prolific. But it's not my favorite pepper. I wouldn't rave about it. It's worth growing. It's good. And it's, like I said, prolific. I like to pick them for a little snack in the morning when I'm hungry, because I haven't had breakfast yet. That's my peppermint. And this is some chamomile that is coming back, that reseeded itself from last year. So that's pretty cool. Over here is our garlic that we planted together, and a lot of it's starting to pop up. But also, someone's been digging, and this is deeper than birds. So I think some rats came in here, and I noticed on the elephant garlic one a couple times that spot was dug up, so I covered it back up. And it looks like it was disturbed again. So I think the rats came in and ate a few of my cloves, but some are also coming up. They don't look like they're messing with the ones that are growing. If I end up with bare spots, I might reseed, or I might just leave it. Not a big deal. I also need to go grab one of my rat traps and stick it up there to see if it is rats and catch one of them. This is my little potato plant. I believe that's a 12-gallon pot, and then the bigger one on this side is a 16-gallon pot from Home Depot. You can see the size difference there, but the potatoes in them are growing well. And then on that side is our project that we did last week together, that we secured down all the netting and made it all perfect and stuff. And then the soil is disturbed where we put all of the new seeds. And even over on this side, I feel like it's almost where I put down fertilizer. Something came in and was digging. And I mean, these aren't like super tight down, so they probably a rat sneaks in. But a couple of the new plants in the back have been nibbled on. They're still growing though. The bottom leaves have been nibbled. It's a little bit annoying, but we'll see what happens. And then next to that is the banana peppers, which we harvested when we did this project. So there's only a bunch of little baby ones on there, but that's okay. They're doing good. Then this in the middle is purple kohlrabi. And that is the rutabaga. And then up front there's two tomato plants that are not looking super happy. I don't see any blooms on them yet either. So again, leaving them in, see what happens. I might put a broccoli or two there later, but I don't need it right now. And then, not covered up by the net, we have some green beans. I had mentioned that they were having some issues with thrips. So I came and sprayed. That's why I actually sprayed. I didn't care as much about the aphids on the melons, but I came and sprayed the Captain Jack's dead bugs for the thrips on the beans. We had a little harvest of beans earlier this week, but there's lots coming on still. Hopefully I can keep the thrips controlled until we get those harvested. I just have to make sure I actually wash the beans really well because I sprayed. But there's Jerusalem artichoke next to them. Looking pretty much the same. The only time I ever really think about them is when I realize that they're a little bit droopy because they haven't been watered. So I need to water them. But they're okay for today. go around to the back side of that bed. This is the back side of that bed. It's 12 feet long, so we call it the big bed. You can see the ones that we planted last week. Something pulled off some of the leaves and didn't even eat them all. They just kind of left them on the ground. But I put that bird spike thing right there where I thought they might be coming through. And that didn't work because something still dug in there. But over here we have our snap peas that are looking a little worse for wear. They're getting kind of dried out on the bottom already. And that does not bode well, but they are producing a little bit. There's a pea. I was able to pick a few peas this weekend, and they were tasty. But I'm probably going to have to replant this trellis of peas because the plants are not super happy. Behind the peas, or next to the peas, I guess. In front of, behind, something. These two tomato plants are probably the happiest ones here in the whole garden, and even they are getting some of that. Still have that leaf curl. But these guys at least have several blossoms on them. I don't think I've seen any fruit yet, but there are several blossoms. That looks like some kind of bug something. I'm going to pull that leaf off because whatever it is, I don't want it on here. I don't know if that's eggs or caterpillar poop or what, but I'm going to get rid of it. All right, this one's next to it. These are the celebrity variety, both of these. And you can see the little flower buds there. I don't see any fruits. These flower buds actually dried out, so that actually might not be a good thing. I don't know. We'll leave it in, see what happens. That's the motto these days. These guys have been getting munched on back here. These are the yellow beans. I like to lift up the leaf and see if there's any little crawly bugs in there, little caterpillars. Doesn't bother me too much. It's not going to hurt production. As long as they don't eat the entire plant, they're still going to produce beans for me. And they are still producing beans for me. So I'm not going to complain too much about a few caterpillars. There are actually a few beans in there that I probably could harvest today, but I'd rather wait until there's enough for a substantial side for a meal. So we're going to wait on those. And across from this, I'm going to that side, I guess, the trellis, huh? There's the Greenstalk. This trellis is more snap peas, and they get shade a lot earlier in the day than the other ones do. So they seem to be doing way better. This half of the trellis I planted first, and then that half I planted weeks later, a couple weeks later, and they're growing the exact same rate already. Like, they caught up, and they're going to produce at the same time. And then in the front, they're starting to get their cilantro leaves on them. That's all my cilantro. The seeds kind of all washed into a bunch over there, so big clumps of it instead of all over the place. But that's all right. It'll still grow pretty. I love cilantro. I know some people don't, but I'm not some people. I do. And this is my mesh net with a moth on the inside, so that's totally working. Let's let him out. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. No, out, not in. Oh, whatever. I'll let him out later. He's in there on one of my sprouting broccoli plants. There's 3 of them, and they are getting very, very big. I love it. And then in front is a Romanesco cauliflower, which is getting big, and I'm hoping to be able to uncover them soon and let it, like, come out a little bit, but I might keep them covered forever. We'll see. These are some of the Alaska nasturtium. They're the same variety. They're on the bottom of the Greenstalk that I didn't show very closely. This is some green kohlrabi. That one's looking really good. And then there's 4 more behind it that are looking slightly less bulbous, but they're looking healthy in there, so I can't complain. And then next to that's another Romanesco cauliflower. And this one looks like it's had some wormy damage on it, but not so much that it's going to impact the plant at all. I have actually taken off the cover and picked off one worm, one caterpillar eating my leaves. But it's not so much that it's causing a problem, so it doesn't bother me. There's another nasturtium in this corner. And then behind the Romanesco is 3 regular broccoli plants. I don't have a variety. The seed packet just said broccoli. So it's broccoli. And they're doing really well. And this is going to be another project because I need to get this, see how it's clipped together with the clips at the top and rolled around. I want to get that sewn, and I want to sew all the way down the sides so that it's not like bunched up and overflowing and opening up. So that's a project. Next to that bed we have a little pedestal planter of green onion. Oh no, sorry. Little pedestal planter of chives. And then my son's little planter of green onions that are starting to actually look like green onions instead of grass. We love that. And then the last bed, which is usually the first bed we look at, it's my flowers. These nasturtiums that volunteered in the walkway, I'm just going to leave them. And then the nasturtiums that I actually planted. And this one is getting really big. And then my sweet pea flowers. These ones are not edible. These are going to be smelling like that perfume that I used to buy at Bath & Body Works when I was 12. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to push them all up under the trellis. But yeah. And this is the back corner with that Mexican sunflower that has quite literally taken over. And it's in the walkway now. My husband has to step over that spot when he takes out the trash. So I can't take it down. The bugs love it. The bees love it. It's just so pretty. I might chop it back so that it's not in the walkway, but I'm not ready to remove the whole thing yet. And then next to that is the giant orange tree that overtakes the entire universe and has oranges left on top from probably 3 years ago. But that's okay. I don't like a tall orange tree. I like the one in the back that's a bush that we can actually reach. But anyway, that's the garden, and I hope you enjoyed the tour this week and seeing how things have grown. I hope you come back next time. Bye.